Do not be your own stumbling block. Don't be afraid to start at the bottom. Would you like to know the difference between the guy that plays in the major league and the guy that never gets past little league? In today's episode, I'm going to tell you what the number one determining factor is between both of those people.
I spent the last year and a half learning from the top earners in the industry, and now I'm putting my business plan into action. The question is, how will I do it without being a tech genius or having supermodel good looks? Join me and follow along as I learn, put into action, and share my journey. I am Sarah Peterson, and you're listening to MLM Marketing Explosion.
Don't be afraid to start at the bottom. Have you noticed that most of the movies today are about the hero that starts out kind of as the underdog, and by the end of the movie, things are working out great, and you're rooting for him, and you're so excited, and it's so inspiring? Why is that? Why do we care so much? What is it about us as humans that makes us so excited when somebody starts out with seemingly impossible odds but makes it to where we want to be? Why is that? So I have a friend that has played Major League Baseball. Pretty cool, right? He was actually a pitcher. In fact, I believe he was a left-handed pitcher, if I remember correctly. And I asked him one time, because I have kids that play sports, I said, dude, how in the heck did you do it? How did you get to be that little kid who grows up playing baseball, who dreams of playing major leagues, and actually gets to live out their dream? Do you guys know how rare that is? I mean, it's like 1 in a billion chance, okay, maybe not that big, that you're going to get to play in the major leagues, right? And he did it. So I said, what the heck is your secret? What's the secret sauce? I know you've got the secret. What is it? Is it who you know? You know, what is it? How did you have this in when so many other kids that are probably just as talented or whatever don't get to do it, right? That are just as natural and athletes. You know what he said? He said that every single day he threw 1,000 pitches. 1,000 pitches every single day when he was growing up. And that's what made the difference. It was the practice, and it was putting it into action. He could have stayed at home. He could have studied all of the best baseball players. He could have seen what they had in common. He could have figured out where he wanted to hit the ball. He could have learned, read pictures about the best stance. He could have, read pictures about the best way to throw the ball, how to throw a curveball, whatever. But at the end of the day, nothing happens if nothing happens, right? If you want to change, you've got to change. So he actually physically went out and threw 1,000 pitches every day. And he learned what worked, and he learned what didn't work. And he was able to get it so ingrained that his body remembered. Did you know that, they say that muscle memory? Did you know that muscle memory is actually not anything to do with your muscles? It has to do with your brain. It has to do with training your brain, how it works, so that your brain knows, okay, when we do this, it means that we're in the zone. When we have this stance, it means that we're ready to play. And your brain does it automatically. If you've practiced enough, your brain just kicks on an autopilot and it goes. But you have to be willing to start at the bottom. There's so many college graduates that I see that pass up job after job after job, right? Or high school, kids in high school, I'm not doing that job. I don't want to do that job, right? They just want to be the CEO, right? I want to be the CEO of this company. Well, you got to start at the bottom. You got to start at the entry-level job lots of times, right? And you got to be willing to start at the bottom. I know my sister actually owns an ice cream shop over in Hawaii, and before she bought that ice cream, it's a franchise, and before she bought this franchise, she actually went and worked at the company in town for minimum wage, and she worked her way up through the ranks until she was a manager, because she wanted to know every single aspect of running that job before she went and did it. Now, I'm not saying that before you go and implement these things that I'm teaching you about, that you have to know absolutely everything. You don't. Because there's one thing that I've learned, that the more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn, and that could turn into a never-ending, hurricane of never taking any action, right? But you do have to take action on what you know. That's the only way you're going to get better, is to start at the bottom. And, it's such a double-edged sword sometimes in this world. I know that when I graduated from college, I wanted to be a child life specialist at a children's hospital, and I actually did an internship in Chicago as a child life specialist at a big hospital there. And when I went out to start looking for jobs, it was that weird, well, if you've got experience, paid experience, then you can have the job. But if you don't have paid experience, how do you get paid experience, right? It's such a weird conundrum, which is where network marketing is so awesome. When you get started in network marketing, the flip side of it is that it's super easy to get started, right? It's really cheap. Anybody can do it. The monthly costs are not that astronomical. It's a way that everybody can start a business. But the flip side of that is you get in and, you know, you got to start at the bottom. You got to learn everything. You've got to learn how to market. But I think, and that's why they never start. Because you get in and you're like, well, where do I start? I don't have a boss telling me what to do. I don't have, you know, the laid out steps of exactly what I need to do, right? And people make the mistake of thinking that they need to know everything before they start. But you really only have to be 1 or 2 steps ahead of the people that you're leading. So make sure that you're learning how to do this marketing, but then start implementing. People ask me all the time, you know, how long is it going to be before I make money? I know I did that when I started out marketing. Well, when am I going to make money? When's the big payoff? But they forget. This is like anything else. You got to go through the steps. And, you know, the other problem with that is, I don't know. Are you going to be like my friend that played Major League Baseball because every single day he went out through 1,000 pitches, rain or shine? Or are you going to be that person that buys every book on the planet and has to read everything before they start, has to know everything about the company, everything about the comp plan, everything about the stuff that doesn't even matter, right? Which person are you going to be? Because as soon as you decide to take action, is as soon as you're going to see success. It's as soon as you're going to see things start to happen to you is when you decide to be that leader and you take action to be the leader. If you don't ever get started, then the answer to when are you going to be successful is never. You're never going to be successful. You just got to start. You got to start with what you know, and then you scale it. And there's no shortcuts to anywhere worth going. I know that all these people ask me all this time, okay, Sarah, you went through all this stuff. You learned how to market. You bought these systems. You deep dove into what these gurus were doing. You dissected every single part of their marketing strategy. You didn't just listen to what they were saying. You actually went out and figured out what they were doing. You know, what's my shortcut? I know that for my team, I just give them the sales funnel and say, here you go, plug it in, run with this, right? This is for you guys, you know, and it cuts years off their learning time, but they still have to learn how to do stuff. They still have to learn how to make the videos to put in it. I can give them the template, I can give them the script, but they still actually have to physically go do it. And that's like you guys. You know, you can be handed everything that you need to succeed, but it's up to you to decide if you're going to do it or if you're not going to do it. And you're always going to start at the bottom. Now, it's up to you to decide how long you get to stay there. You don't have to stay there for very long, but you're always going to start there. And I think sometimes people get so either overwhelmed with how much there is to know, that it's that analysis paralysis, and it stops them dead in the track, or they go, that's too simple. Not going to do that. If you'd given me really hard steps, yeah, maybe I would have done that, but this is too easy. But here's the deal. To get something that you've never had, you got to do something that you've never done. If you went to college or if you've ever started at a job, that first day that you start is like, it's awful, right? I can remember when I graduated from high school, I suppose this is a good thing, but all I wanted to do was move out of the house. I don't know why, because I actually had my parents are amazing, my family's amazing. I was the oldest of 7 kids. I guess I still am the oldest of 7 kids. But I just wanted to leave that nest. I was so excited. I was so ready for so I thought, for what the world had to offer. I was running after college. It was going to be a blast. And it was. But I remember that first day. In fact, I got into college with the premise of I had to go summer term. That's the only way I got accepted. But to go summer term, it was literally, I had graduation, we had grad night, and I climbed in the car and we drove up to school. And because it was like a day away. So I get up to school and they drop me off and I'm going, yes! But they drive away and I'm going, no, I don't know how to do anything, right? But as you're there and you're forced to do it, you figure it out really quickly and you kind of forget what it was like, right? But you gotta start from somewhere. And then of course you graduate and that's that whole new, well, what do I do now? But you gotta start and you figure it out. I think one of the biggest mistakes I ever see are people not taking action. Even if it's the wrong action, at least you're taking action. Now, I hear people say all the time, well, you want to fail faster? No. You don't need to fail faster. There's nothing about failing that needs to happen, but you need to start marketing. So look at people that know how to market and can teach you their system and start putting that into action. I have a son that loves baseball, and he's really good at baseball, He can hit that ball with anything. In fact, I like to sit back and call him the magnet bat. Because seriously, if the ball's coming, he can hit it, like almost every time. It is very rare, once in a blue moon, in fact, he has a game tonight, I better not jinx him by saying this, that he doesn't hit the ball. Like, he never, ever strikes out, right? It just doesn't happen. And I'll watch these kids play, and they just stand there, right? Here goes the strike. They just stand there. Here goes the ball. They just stand there. Here goes the strike again. And they never ever swing. Well, here's the deal. You might strike out. You might miss the ball. But if you don't even swing the bat, you're never going to hit the ball. You're never, ever, ever going to get what you want if you don't at some point take that action. Swing away. You don't get better by sitting on the bench. When my little girl was 5, we put her on a soccer team. And she's actually really good at soccer, but she's not super aggressive. She just likes to play because it's fun, right? Sometimes she's aggressive if she wants to be, but she kind of decides when she wants to be aggressive, and she kind of decides when she just wants to play and have fun, right? She doesn't have that drive like some of my other kids do. And because of that, she was great, but only when she wanted to be, right? Not super consistent. So I'm at this game. Remember, she's 5. She's in kindergarten, and my mom has driven in. They used to live close by, but it was about a 45-minute drive. So she'd driven up to see this game, right? And we're all at the game, and we're all excited, and there was a rule that you had to play half the game, right? And she was happy as a clam just playing her half a game. And, you know, she's 5. I don't care. We're just in here, and it's going to be fun, right? Well, so my mom's there, and we're waiting. And we're waiting, and we're waiting for the coach to put my daughter in. And she plays 1 quarter. So we're sitting on the sidelines, and she's sitting on, you know, on the bench, and we're going, is she going in? Is she going in? Is she going in? And I'm starting to get madder and madder and madder and madder because I don't care if she's the number 1 player on the team. I don't need her to be the number 1 best scorer, right? I just want to see her play, right? And she doesn't go in. She doesn't go in the rest of the game. She played 1 quarter, and I was hopping mad. So I went to the coach afterwards, and I said, dude, she's supposed to play half the game, and you didn't even put her in. And the coach looked at me and said, well, I wanted to win a game. We haven't won a game yet, and I just wanted to win a game. Well, here's the deal. My daughter is not going to get better sitting on the bench, right? My daughter's never going to be good if she's just sitting on the bench watching and not playing. Well, that's like you guys. You can sit and watch. You can watch everybody rank advance and walk across the stage. You can watch everybody else put the value ladder and the sales funnel into place. But until you physically do it, till you physically do what you're taught, it's not going to change things for you. You gotta swing. Don't get out looking at a strike. Take a chance. Keep your eye on the ball and swing. Here's something crazy for you baseball fans. You probably already know this. Those of you that are not, I know have heard the name Babe Ruth. Did you know that he struck out more times than he hit the ball? But he's not known for that. He's known for his home runs. Crazy, right? Now, I'm not saying that you're going to strike out, because if you do this, like I'm saying, you won't strike out. But you got to be brave enough and confident enough to take the chance to swing. I don't care how many practices you go to. I don't care how many books you read. I don't care how much knowledge you have. The only way you get better and become great is to play in the game. And you realize that marketing is sort of a game. It's a system. When you put the things into play that are supposed to be there, it works. When you put the things into the value ladder that are supposed to be there, it works. As we go through this, and as you learn how to do what I'm going to teach you, go out and implement it. Don't question it. Don't go out and study it to death. Just go do it. At some point in time, you have to decide that it's worth it and that you're ready, and then you just have to go do it. And guess what? The sooner you start playing, the faster your skills are going to improve. And you're going to look back and you're going to go, wow, how did I know all that? And somebody's going to come to you and they're going to say, wow, you know so much. You're doing so awesome. And you're going to go, I don't know what I'm doing. Because you're still going to feel like you're here because there's still all this stuff to know. But somebody just starting now, you're not starting anymore. Isn't that cool? When my son was little, he was getting ready to participate in something that was a really, really big deal in our church. And it was considered a milestone in his life. It's one of those things that, you know, your child is born and they get up to that certain age and you're like, when he gets to this age, this is like huge. This is like this big step, right? And before this momentous occasion was to take place, he was approached by one of the leaders of the church. And, you know, he kind of said, hey, are you excited? Isn't this great? This is going to be such a great day. I'm so thrilled for you. And my son looked at him and he goes, you know, and he said, you know, aren't you excited? Isn't this great? And my son looked at him and in complete and total honesty, you know, looked at this guy and said, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. Well, with your business and when it comes to you and marketing, you can't sit on the fence. You got to be in or you got to be out. There's no in between. So you've got to make a choice. I can't make the choice for you. Your spouse can't make the choice for you. Your kids can't make the choice for you. Your parents can't make the choice for you. The only one who can make the choice is you, because you're the one that has to become the leader, and you're the one that has to take the steps to be the leader. When I first started out, I started making phone calls, and then I started getting no's. And people, when I started out, I did it the traditional way. I did belly to belly and kneecap to kneecap. And it started to get to the point that I hated making phone calls. It wasn't something I wanted to do. Now, it was driven because I had this huge mindset, but nothing I was doing was working out. It just wasn't working for me, and I was stuck. So I got to that point that I was like, I don't want to call anybody anymore. So I started making new names lists. But the names lists were not people I knew. They were people that my husband knew, right? And I was like, dude, Lloyd, just go make me this list of all these people, and then you can call them, and I'll go do the meeting. Because I had no problem doing the meeting, right? They'd already said yes. That wasn't the scary part. The scary part was getting it in front of them, right? Which is the marketing part, how you're going to get it in front of them, right? I was like, I can't do this, so you just go do it. Well, of course, my husband's going, dude, this is your business. If you want this to work, you got to do this. And I'd get all mad and I'd get all defensive. I'd say, dude, you're not supportive. If you would just help me out, if you were more supportive, if you do this or that or the other. But at the end of the day, you know why? It's because I was scared. I didn't want to be the leader. I didn't know it at the time that I didn't want to be the leader, but it was because I was terrified. And that terrified was probably two parts. And this was especially true when I started out on the marketing side. When I realized what the big gurus were doing, that they weren't doing the whole meetings, that they weren't calling people, that they weren't cold calling people, that they weren't bugging their friends and family, things started to change. And it was interesting because when things started to change, it was no longer that I wanted my husband to do it, because I wanted to do it. I was so excited. I was so ready to be the leader. And I knew that I was ready to be the leader. And I knew that I all of a sudden had the system where I was going to be successful. But here's the crazy thing with that. From the outside to outsiders, as I was putting everything into place, it probably looked like, and maybe there was a little bit of this, that I was terrified that everything that I'd learned was not going to work, right? What if I do all this and it doesn't work? Then what, right? Because I see other people doing this and it works and I know it works, right? But you know what the biggest problem was? The biggest problem was, what if it does work? What if this does what I know it's going to do? Because I know what it's going to do. I know it's going to work because I've seen it work. You know, I was telling people how to implement what I didn't have exactly in place yet, and they were getting crazy success. I had one gal that came to me for coaching, and so I taught her what I knew, and she went and immediately put it into action, and she hit her sales goal in that first 30 days because it was working for her. Now, that was fun for me because I knew it was working for me, but all of a sudden I saw it in this bigger scale. And as I saw it in this bigger scale, as I started coaching people and I saw the success that they were having, I was going, oh my gosh, this is going to work like I knew it was going to work. And then it's that holy cow, wow, you know what I mean? So you're probably going to have moments of that too. You're going to have those moments at first where you start out that you're going, is this going to work? Because I've been stuck. Because this belly to belly didn't work. Because what my company taught me was how to network. They didn't teach me how to market. I've been stuck for so long. I've had so many people tell me no. What if this doesn't work too? And then you're going to get to that point that as you start implementing this and as you start teaching it to other people and they're having success too, that you're going to start going, oh my goodness, holy cow, this is working. I don't even know where this is going to lead. Am I ready for this, right? So let me tell you that you are ready. You are worth it. You're going to go through those periods, and that's fine. If you think that I just landed up there where I am today, I didn't. There have been so many times that people have told me no and that I was dumb and to call them when I was a millionaire and, yada, 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 right? You can't let that stop you. You have to laser focus on what you know is going to work. You have to laser focus on the marketing. And as you put these steps into action, it will happen for you. You have to start at the bottom, but only you get to decide how long you're there.
Are you tired of bugging your family and friends and bumping into the same people all over social media trying to pitch your opportunity? If so, grab your team members and go to www.marketingexplosion.org and pick up your free copy of MLM Momentum. It's going to teach you how to get people coming to you and applying for your opportunity. It's also going to teach you how to get paid for prospecting. See you soon.